I remember this one Tuesday, just a regular day at work. I pulled up this retirement calculator on my computer. You type in your age and how much money you're saving, then it tells you when you can retire. Mine said age 67, maybe 70 if things go bad. And I just sat there, staring at the screen. That's 40 more years of work. 40 more years of waking up early when it's still dark outside. 40 more years of asking my boss if I can take a vacation. And here's the worst part. By the time I'm 67, I'll be too old and tired to do half the stuff I want to do. I closed the calculator and I thought, there's got to be a better way than this. My name is Richard, and I teach stuff about money that school never taught us. I spend way too much time reading about why some people retire at 45, while other people are still broke at 65, even though both of them worked hard their whole life. If this video helps you understand money better, hit that like button and subscribe. It actually helps more than you think. Now, before we jump in, let me tell you about this guy I used to work with. He's 55 years old, been at the company for 30 years, still brings his lunch in a brown paper bag every day, still freaks out every time the stock market goes down. He did everything the right way. He put money in his retirement account every month, never missed a payment, followed all the advice, and he's still got 12 more years before he can retire. Or maybe that's you right now. You're eating the same meal prep for the fifth day in a row while your friends are posting vacation photos online. You're trying to do the right thing. You're trying to save money. You're trying to invest. But that retirement date, it feels like it's a million years away. And there's this feeling in your stomach like, am I really going to be doing this for 40 more years? But here's where things get interesting. So here's what everyone tells you when you start investing. Max out your 401k first. Get that free money from your company, save on taxes. And yeah, that sounds great on paper. But I'm going to tell you something that might surprise you. If I were starting over right now in 2026, I would mostly ignore that advice. Let me explain why. Here's the problem nobody talks about. When you put money in a 401k, it's locked up. You can't touch it until you're 59 and a half years old. If you try to take it out early, you get hit with a big penalty. You lose 10% of your money right away. Plus, you got to pay taxes on it. So let's say you're 30 years old right now. You're putting all your money in your 401k like everyone told you to. But what happens when you're 45 and you're burned out? What happens when you want to quit your job, but you can't because all your money is locked up for another 15 years? You're stuck. You built a cage for yourself. Here's my plan. I'd only put enough money in my 401k to get the free money from my company. That's called the employer match. Let me explain what that means. If your company says, we'll match 50% of the first 6% you put in, that means if you make $60,000 a year and you put in 6%, $3,000, your company gives you another $1,500 for free. That's a 50% instant return on your money. You absolutely take that free money. But after I get that free money, I'm putting everything else somewhere I can actually use it before I'm old and gray. Let me show you what this looks like with real money. Let's say you make $60,000 a year. The old advice says, put as much as possible in your 401k. That's up to $23,000 a year in 2026. That's almost $2,000 every single month. My advice says only put in enough to get the free money from your company. For most people, that's about $250 a month. Now you've got an extra $1,700 a month. Instead of locking that away until you're 60, you put it in accounts you can actually use. Here's the difference. Way number one, lock everything in 401k. You've got a huge pile of money at age 60, but if you want to retire at 45, you can't touch it. You're trapped at your job. Way number two, only get the free money, invest the rest where you can use it. At age 45, you've got hundreds of thousands of dollars you can actually use. You can quit your job tomorrow if you want. No penalties, no waiting, you're free. Everyone says keeping your money locked up saves you on taxes. And yeah, that's true. But what good is $1 million when you're 70 if you're too tired to enjoy it? What if your knees hurt? What if you can't travel anymore? Being able to use your money matters a lot. Rich people don't lock all their money away until they're 60. They keep it where they can use it. A 401k is like putting money in a safe and burying it in your backyard, but you don't get the shovel until you're 60 years old. Yeah, the money's safe, But what are you supposed to do for the next 30 years? Just stare at your backyard? The other type of account I'm talking about, that's money in your pocket. You can use it when you need it. I made this mistake when I started. I put everything in my 401k. I thought I was being so smart. Then I hit 32 and I was completely burned out. I wanted to take a year off work, maybe travel, but I couldn't because all my money was locked up. I built a golden cage for myself. That's when I changed everything. I started putting money in accounts I could actually touch because I wanted options. I wanted freedom. If I were starting over today, I'd skip that mistake completely. Okay, so if I'm not putting everything in a 401k, where does the money go? Let me show you the exact system I'd use. It's three simple accounts, and it's designed to give you freedom at every age, not just when you're 70. All right, so you decided you're not going to lock all your money away. Good move. But now you're thinking, okay, where does it actually go? I'm going to break this down super simple. Three accounts, three buckets. Each one has a different job. Think of it like sorting your laundry. Whites go here, colors go there, delicates go in this basket. Same thing with money. It comes in from your paycheck, you sort it into three places, and each place does something different for you. Most people mess this up in one of two ways. Either they keep all their money in a regular savings account earning basically nothing, and inflation slowly eats away at it, or they put everything in investments. Then when their car breaks down, they panic and have to sell everything at the worst time. Both ways cost you years of progress. The three bucket system fixes this. You get safety and growth at the same time. Bucket one is your emergency fund. This is not an investment. This is your sleep good at night money. You need 6 months of expenses saved up, just sitting in a regular savings account. Right now, good savings accounts pay about 4 to 5% interest, which is honestly pretty decent. Will this make you rich? Nope. But that's not the point. The point is when your car breaks down, you don't panic. When you lose your job, you don't have to sell all your investments. You've got a cushion. This is step one. You build this first. Everything else comes after. Bucket two is called a taxable brokerage account. I know that sounds complicated, but it's just a normal investment account. Like a regular checking account, but for buying stocks. This is the money that's going to let you quit your job at 45 instead of 67. You put this money into something called index funds. Don't worry, I'll explain what those are later, but basically it's the safest, most boring way to invest. Here's the beautiful part. You can take this money out anytime you want. No penalties, no age limits. Yeah, you'll pay some taxes when you sell, but that's it. No big deal. This account buys you freedom. Bucket three is called a Roth IRA. This is super powerful and most people don't use it. In 2026, you can put $7,000 a year into this account. That's about $583 a month. Here's why it's awesome. Reason one, your money grows and you never pay taxes on it. Ever. When you're 70 and you take the money out, you don't owe the government anything. Reason two, you can take out the money you put in anytime you want. Not the profits, just the money you contributed. But still, that's flexibility. So if you put in $7,000 a year for 5 years, that's $35,000 you contributed. You can pull that $35,000 out anytime. No penalties. It's like a mix between a savings account and a retirement account. Let me show you what this looks like for a real person. You make $55,000 a year. After taxes, you bring home about $3,800 a month. Here's how you fill the buckets. Step 1. Build your emergency fund first. Your bills every month are $2,500. You need 6 months saved equals $15,000 total. Save $500 a month equals takes about 30 months. Yeah, it takes time, but you only do this once. Step 2. After emergency fund is full, split your money like this. $500 a month into your brokerage account, that's your early retirement money. $583 a month into your Roth IRA, that's tax-free growth. $125 a month into your 401k just to get the free money from work. That's about $1,200 a month total going to your future. Is that a lot? Yeah. But look what you're building. Right now, safety. Emergency fund means car repairs don't stress you out. Midlife freedom. Brokerage account means you can retire early. Later life security. Roth IRA means you've got tax free money when you're older. Most people are told to pick one account and put everything there. Just max out your 401k or just save cash or just do the Roth. But that's like trying to build a house with only a hammer. Sure, you can try, but it's going to be ugly. The three bucket system gives you the right tool for everything. You're not just investing, you're building a life where money doesn't stress you out anymore. Your emergency fund is like a seatbelt in a car. You don't want to use it, but you're really glad it's there when you need it. Your brokerage account is like the engine. It's what moves you forward toward early retirement. Your Roth IRA is like a turbo boost. It supercharges everything with tax free growth. You need all three, not just one. When I first learned this, I had been doing everything wrong. I had $30,000 just sitting in a savings account earning almost nothing, like 0.01% interest. I thought I was being smart because I had savings, but inflation was eating it alive. I was actually losing money every year. When I finally split it up, $15,000 stayed as my emergency fund. $15,000 went into a brokerage account. Everything clicked. I had safety and growth. I wasn't stressed, but I also wasn't leaving money on the table. It felt like I finally understood how the game works. Okay, so now you've got three accounts set up. But here's where beginners completely mess this up. They open the accounts, they move money in, and then they buy the wrong stuff. They buy random stocks their friend told them about. They jump into crypto. They panic and sell at the worst time. So let me tell you exactly what I'd buy. This is going to save you years of headaches. All right, you've got your three accounts ready. Money's flowing in every month. Now, the big scary question, what do I actually buy? Because when you open that investing app, there are thousands of options, stocks, crypto, all these weird three-letter codes. It's completely overwhelming. And the money people love that. Because when you're confused, you're more likely to pay them to help you. But I'm going to make this so simple, a kid could understand it. If I were starting over in 2026, I'd only invest in two things. That's it. Two things? The average person who tries to invest loses to the market by about 4% every year, not because they're dumb, but because they try to do too much. They buy whatever stock is hot, it crashes, they panic and sell, they lose money. They hear crypto is making people rich, they buy at the top, it drops, they panic, sell again. They're always chasing, always stressed, always reacting. After 20 years of this, they have less money than if they did nothing. Keeping it simple is what actually works. 90% of my money goes into something called VOO or VTI. Okay, what are those? VOO is an index fund. It tracks the 500 biggest companies in America. Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, all of them. When you buy one share of VOO, you're basically buying a tiny piece of 500 companies at once. VTI is similar. It tracks about 3,600 companies, basically the entire US stock market. Either one works, pick one, stick with it. Over the long run, these return about 10% per year on average. Some years they're up 25%, some years they're down 15%, but over 20 or 30 years, it averages to about 10%. You're not trying to beat the market, you're trying to be the market. 10% of my money goes into individual company stocks that I actually understand. Notice I said understand, not whatever's going viral on social media, not whatever some random person on the internet told you about. Companies you actually use and believe in. For me, that's stuff like Apple, Microsoft, Costco, companies I shop at, companies that make sense to me. This 10% isn't to get rich, it's to scratch the itch. Because let's be real, just buying VOO is boring. And sometimes you want to own a piece of a company you actually like. But if this 10% goes to zero, it doesn't ruin your life because 90% of your money is safe in the index fund. Now, here's what I would totally avoid crypto. Unless it's like $50, you're okay losing. Stock tips from people on the internet you don't know. Day trading, that's buying and selling stocks constantly. Gold, silver, collectibles, anything that says guaranteed returns or get rich quick. All of that is designed to make you feel like you're missing out. It's designed to make you emotional. Just ignore it. Let me show you what happens over 20 years. Person A chases hot stocks, tries day trading, jumps into whatever's trending. After fees and mistakes, they make about 5% per year. $500 a month for 20 years equals about $206,000. Person B, boring strategy with VOO, nothing fancy, makes about 10% per year. $500 a month for 20 years equals about $382,000. That's $176,000 more just from being boring. And here's the kicker. Person A spent 20 years stressed out, checking their phone every hour, freaking out about market crashes. Person B said it and forgot it, lived their life, made way more money. The money industry makes billions by convincing you that investing is complicated. They want you to think you need an expert. You need special insider knowledge. You need fancy strategies. But here's the truth. Simple, boring index funds beat 90% of the professionals over 20 years. The people who get paid millions of dollars to pick stocks, most of them can't beat VOO. So why would you even try? Investing is like working out at the gym. The guy who shows up 3 times a week and does the basics, push-ups, squats, running, he gets in great shape. The guy who buys every supplement, follows every new trend, switches workout programs every month, he spins his wheels and gets nowhere. Basics work. Fancy stuff doesn't. I used to think I was smarter than everyone else. I'd spend hours researching stocks, reading reports, watching charts. And you know what? I did worse than VOO almost every single year. One year I was up 6% and felt like a genius, but VOO was up 18% that year. I did all that work and would have made 3 times more by doing nothing. That's when I gave up trying to be clever. I put 90% into VOO, and my results immediately got better. Plus, I got my life back. I stopped obsessing over stocks. Okay, so you know what to buy. VOO. Maybe a couple individual stocks if you want. But here's the part that actually makes you rich. And honestly, it's the easiest part. But almost nobody does it. Let me show you the trick that turns regular people into millionaires. All right, here's a wild fact. A big investment company looked at their best performing accounts, the ones that made the most money over time. You know who had the best returns? Dead people. I'm not joking. Accounts where the person died and nobody touched the account for years did the best. Second place, people who forgot they even had an account. What does that tell you? The less you touch your money, the better it does. We're emotional creatures. We panic. We get excited. We make terrible decisions with money. Your account drops 20% and you think, oh no, I should sell before it gets worse. So you sell. Then it goes back up 30% the next month and you missed it. Or everyone's talking about some investment and you don't want to miss out. So you buy at the top. Then it crashes. Every time you make a decision based on emotion, you lose money. The solution? Take emotions out of it completely. Automate everything. Then forget about it. Set up automatic transfers on payday. The money moves from your paycheck to your investment accounts before you even see it. $500 to your brokerage account, $583 to your Roth IRA, $125 to your 401k. It happens automatically, every 2 weeks or every month, like clockwork. You never think about it. You never decide. It just happens. This is called paying yourself first. And it's how you actually stick with investing for the long haul. Turn on automatic dividend reinvestment. Okay, quick explanation. When you own stocks, sometimes they pay you a little bit of money. That's called a dividend. Instead of that money just sitting there, you can have it automatically buy more stocks. Your money grows on itself without you doing anything. There's a setting in your account called DRIP. Just turn it on. Done. Delete the investing apps from your phone. This sounds crazy, but I'm serious. Every time you check your account, you're tempted to do something, to change something, to react to news, and every time you do that, you mess up your plan. The best investors set it and forget it. They don't check daily. They don't react to headlines. They let time do the work. Let me show you what happens when you try to time things perfectly. Let's say you put $10,000 in the S&P 500 in 2003. You just left it alone. Didn't touch it during the 2008 crash. Didn't panic during COVID. By 2023, that $10,000 is worth about $64,000. Now let's say you tried to be smart. You sold during the 2008 crash. You waited until things felt safe in 2010 before buying back in, or you panicked in March 2020 when COVID hit. You sold. Then you missed when everything bounced back. If you just missed the 10 best days in the market over 20 years, your $10,000 would only be worth $29,000. Less than half, just from missing 10 days. And you don't know when those 10 best days will happen. If you're sitting on the sidelines trying to time it right, you're going to miss them. The money industry wants you glued to your phone. They want you checking every day. They want you stressed and reacting. Because when you're trading and making moves, they make money on fees. But the numbers are crystal clear. The less you touch your money, the better it does.